The reasons why scientists, I think, buy into this, there's multiple reasons, and I've thought about this for decades. One of the reasons is, first of all, we have to put food on the table, okay? All of climate research in the United States gets its money from the United States Congress. In order for Congress to give you money to study a problem, there has to be a problem, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And if there isn't a problem, then you aren't going to get money. And people like myself, myself included, our careers now totally depend on the fear of man-made climate change. So you got to keep that going in order to keep the money flowing and have a career. So you've got to. I think scientists tend to reduce any misgivings they might have. Okay, and they'll exaggerate the possibilities because a lot of this is theoretically possible. You know, it's possible that Al Gore is right and eventually temperatures will rise dramatically. You can't prove that it's not going to happen, but it's sort of in the realm of faith. So that's one of the things is scientists have to put food on the table. You know, you got to have a problem in order to get the money out of Congress. But also a lot of these scientists, I find, have a world view. It's almost a religious view that nature is fragile. And that sounds like an unscientific thing to have, attitude to have for a scientist. But I find that all scientists have worldviews that they sort of fall back on when they're analyzing data. I've often said we could measure the data of the world. We could measure the three-dimensional state of the Earth every day for years and years and years and know precisely what's going on, and there would still be different points of view, different opinions about what is causing temperatures to change, because it's really hard to discern cause and effect in the climate system.
Dr. Spencer, let me kind of...
Why is everybody freaking out? And that's related to the fact that the people we hear from, whether it's the scientists that tend to talk to the media, or whether it's the media exaggerating things, or whether it's Hollywood and people like Bill Nye, everyone exaggerates this. I mean, in news, I mean, we've always heard in news, if it bleeds, it leads, right?
Right.
So what do you hear in the news? You only hear the most disastrous stories, the most disastrous predictions, because that's worth listening to. It's entertainment. It gets clicks, right?
Right.
Nobody wants to talk to me when I say, yeah, it's warming. Some of it could be human caused, but it's no big deal. That's not news. You know, nobody wants to hear that. It's not entertaining. That's not going to get clicks.
Global warming is the latest in a long, almost never-ending series of crusades. I've forgotten how many millions of dollars he's made out of this. The first column I ever wrote more than 30 years ago was titled "The Prophets of Doom," Profits of Doom. And so it's the same phenomenon today. I mean, there is money in this stuff. You have to pretend to be certain, because otherwise you'll get no support for what you're doing. I mean, you go around saying, well, I think there'll be global warming. Well, there's no money in that. I mean, there's no votes in that. I mean, I just talked to God, and he told me that it's going to be global warming. Now, let's set up a multi-billion-dollar program to stop it. Imagine if you're an assistant professor in meteorology or climatology, and you think that global warming is a crock. And the full professors who are going to vote on your tenure and whatnot are getting millions of dollars in grants. I mean, how eager are you going to be to burst into print and saying it's all nonsense?